What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Monday, episode 666 piece. Probably shouldn't say it, but I did. Let's get it over with. As always, hold the fry. Joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by SeatGeek. Jovan, got a quick question for you, a one-question quiz. Very easy. You should know the answer. If you're going to the park this weekend, where are you buying your tickets?
Of course, snagging them SeatGeek, Krabs.
Sure you can. I knew you knew it. Had all the faith in the world. W. Jovan, W. SeatGeek. If you guys have not copped your tickets already to the ballpark, or hey, maybe you're going to see, trying to catch Ovi's, record-breaking goal. Maybe you're trying to go see an NBA game for some reason, right? Maybe you're rich and you're going to the Final Four and you're down there in Texas and San Antonio, right? A lot of reasons to fire up the old SeatGeek, plug in that code Bookit10 and get a free discount, not only on your one purchase, but every purchase going forward, Jovan. You get 10% off that puppy. W SeatGeek, W promo, Bookit10.
How about
it? Gents, how we doing? No Goots today. Goots is actually on ground at the O's game, and deservingly so. Horrible game. But W Goots, W O's, we'll be rooting for them today. Hopefully Goots is getting nice, as the kids say these days, out there in Baltimore. Hopefully he gets home safe. Okay, that's all you can root for. W Rangers game yesterday with the squads. Love to see it.
Sure.
Some points are made. DeGrom had a pretty darn good start as well. People are talking, right? Pretty solid day.
Looks vintage.
Yeah, 100%. We got a hype train moving and grooving. Wow. Code Evan coming in hot with the resub. Good morning, chat. WBTL, W Baseball, W Code Evan. Appreciate you, Beast. Along with Reeve Trees and Dyson coming in hot with the resub as well. W27 month. Need a two-piece booklet for the vibes. Sure. Maybe you just take my favorite play and Jovan's favorite play, little two-piece, go about your day. Jovan, but wait, there's more. How about a 20 sub bang from Yay Lads? Not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, not 15. How about a 20-piece?
Wow.
Those don't grow on trees.
Those
Holy
do not.
smokes. Yay Lads must have had the Nats ML yesterday. Sure you can. Unbelievable.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably did not have the Nats.
Probably not, but he should have. W Yay Lads. Hey, whatever you're betting on yesterday, I hope it hit. Looks like it did. WT Crizzy bets coming in as well. Let's get a midday lineup for these early games. Not opposed. T Crizzy bets said, cut the shit. Here's a sub bang to get the boys moving and grooving. Getting to lock in here a little bit. W Subbies chat. And yes, go ahead and cash the Nats mentioned -1 million. They don't even have odds up for that puppy.
Early.
Yeah, early, easy cash. No sweater. Jovan, let's go ahead and do the W recaps if we can briefly. And then we'll go ahead and hop in, talk a little bit about the slate for today and our favorite plays. But if you don't mind, we'll take a peep here at the recaps. Let's take a look at the squad ride from Friday. Speaking of the Rangers, you guys at the game yesterday, it was a Rangers-type weekend.
It was.
They came through on Friday as well. Sure. W's.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a Rangers week this week. We need Krabs. Still moving on because we got Hunter Green going against the Rangers on Wednesday. So we'll be still rooting for him then. And we got DeGrom,
and you got
to restart.
Wait, is that down in
Rays?
Is that down in Dallas or is that on the road?
No, that's in Cincy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, I don't know, I forget if you just
the
mentioned
Rays
it or not, but you got the Rays coming into town, right? So I'm gonna have to make a stop over there. Check out
probably multiple
Globe Life Fields, right? Okay. All right. W Squad Ride, W Rangers. Can we take a peep at the sharp report from from Friday? Excuse me. How about it?
Grabs him.
Yeah, Jovan him 3-2. 2 winning days. 2 winning days. Love to see it. W's chat. Let's get some positivity going in the chat here as well. You won't hear a peep about this on the feeds, so I had to bring it up. W Jovan getting the recap graphics up and moving. How about a 5-0 day for the kid on Friday? Let's replicate. Let's run that puppy back. All right.
Why not?
As Dan's bets comes in hot, dropping a resub as well. 22 months. I'm trying to see both the BTL boys on sweats tonight. Is there even a sweats tonight, Dan? Let me know.
Great question.
Let me know. Was talking with the squads a little bit last week. Definitely want to get more involved with sweats, this week and down the line with baseball as well this summer and KBO as well. I know we owe you guys a 24-hour. It's coming. Don't you guys worry. All right. We appreciate all the subbies, a ton of subbies to get the day started today. And no TMA today, which sucks. Usually I'm getting started, watching Mikey and Joshy getting the day rolling with TMA. No TMA today. Mikey's moving, I believe, but we'll be excited to see TMA back tomorrow and see what Mikey and the squad have in store. All right, we miss you today, Mike, but understandable as well. Okay, we'll see you again tomorrow on TMA. And that's why you guys, first show of the day today, BTL. Not typical, but you didn't miss TMA today. There was no show earlier. Need it back tomorrow. Need the A's report from Mikey as well after a solid W first series, right? Splitting with the Mariners on the Reds. Sure.
Yeah.
WAs. All right. There will be no Aaron Judge glaze on this show. Back to Malik. Are you kidding me? With them cheating using those fucking torpedo bats? You think I'm going to glaze them? Give me a break. I mean, some of these quotes are just hilarious. People losing their minds over a fucking misshaped bat. It's awesome. And it's exactly what I want to see, to be honest with you. Love seeing a lot of people hopping on the trend of roasting the Yankees for cheating. And of course, it's come out now that a couple other teams and players are using these new bats, I guess. But funny to see everybody against the Yankees as a cohesive unit here and thinking that it's bullshit that they're using them. I agree. And I don't care if Aaron Judge is using them or not. Just being around those bats could have an effect. Cannot confirm or deny. I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor. Just being near them, right?
Just
that could end up adding a couple feet to the home runs. Who knows, right? And it's hilarious that it took what? You got to pay a guy from MIT to tell you to make the barrel bigger? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's the most Yankee comment of all time. You could have paid me $10 and I'll tell you that. Make the fucking barrel bigger. Is that really what it takes? Is that all you need to go to MIT to say to move the barrel around, make it a little bit bigger? Geez, I could have gone to MIT as well if that's all it takes. Sheesh. Unbelievable, guys. But yeah, Aaron Judge off to a great start. Somebody check those baseballs for me, will you? Because they're juiced. I'll tell you that much. But you won't hear people about that. Maybe that's why they're bringing out these bats as a distraction technique, Jovan, potentially here. That could be it.
That could be.
Maybe people are trying to throw you off, and it turns out the baseballs have Sammy Sosa's fucking cork in there, right in the middle of that baseball, and that baseball's getting fucking launched. That could be it. That could be pretty smart. W Subbies today, chat, and W Yankees start to the season. I'll give them some credit. Now, it helps when you face off against Nestor Cortez and you know every single pitch that's coming. Right? That certainly helps. But we'll move on and talk about some bigger and better things. No need to waste any more time talking about that rat meat team up there in New York City. Okay? You want to talk about the tournament real quick? College basketball? Because it's still going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course it is.
Any thoughts?
Your favorite Final Four, all the one seeds, Krabs?
Sure. Why are people getting so mad about chirping all the? I've never seen people get so mad about these takes. God forbid you, yeah. Okay, this one threw me off in chat as well. It didn't have Krabs diminishing an MIT education on the card. Yep. Always keep you guys on your toes here on BTL. Always keeping you guys on your toes. Unbelievable. Yeah, guys, baseball's back. Life is good. All right, I can feel my energy returning here. OG Vintage Krabs will be making his return this season, this summer. I'm excited about it. Baseball returns, guys. Life is good. But let's talk about this tournament real quick here. Jovan, a lot of people roasting, people making the take saying this is a rat meat tournament, all the one seeds. I think that's a pretty good take personally because as a guy who enjoys March Madness, right, 50% of the whole fucking words, madness, we haven't had much of that this whole year. And that's the whole point why I like this shit because crazy stuff happens. You got St. Peter's beating Purdue. What other sport is this stuff happening in, right? It doesn't. And that goes away. And people are bitching when people are bitching about people bitching is pretty much what's going on here because I'm bitching, making tweets like, oh, great, we got all the one seeds in the Final Four. And then people are going, just say you hate basketball, man, or say you don't know ball, man. And people are taking screenshots of the top of the – guys, anybody can go on kenpom.com and take a screenshot of the top 4 teams and put it together that they're all playing in the same fucking Final Four. Yeah, no shit. Obviously, they're doing that. The top 4 teams are playing. We got all 4 one seeds in the Final Four. I think they're completely wrong with that take, and I think this is a rat meat tournament. You got to have some chaos in there. You got to have some madness in there, or else this just becomes the NBA playoffs, and the best team's just going to win every year. What's the point? Just change it to March. There's no madness involved. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Am I wrong? Why are people getting pissed about people getting pissed?
I don't know. I don't know why two things can't be true. The fact that it's like we can be excited that we're getting some damn good games in Florida, Auburn, and Duke, Houston, but at the same time, say the tournament was underwhelming, that we didn't have, the closest thing we had to like the NC State of last year, which was a super cool run to pay attention to and follow, was Ole Miss. Like they were the closest thing to it, and that wasn't really even that fun because they played a couple teams that I don't think really anybody believed in for the most part. So like, I think both things can be true. It's like it's what makes the sport so great, and that's the same thing that people were complaining about when it came to the college football playoffs. Like now it's in March Madness, and it just doesn't apply. I guess it's cool that we're seeing some great games in the Final Four. It's going to be a super hyped up Final Four with some really good teams, really good players. But I don't know why we're saying that has to come at the expense of any upsets whatsoever happening any way other than the tournament.
We got Dwarf Noah coming in hot in the chat. Love you, chat. Dwarf is back from a 15-day IRL. Had some family stuff coming up. You never know when life can hit with things coming up. Dwarf W's, my man. Appreciate you coming in with the resub. Hope everything's okay. Let's get the vibes turned around on a Monday. All right. If you had a bad weekend, you had a bad week. Let's turn those frowns upside down. Let's have a week. Let's make a statement today, Dwarf. All right. Let's put our foot down and say, hey, I'm making this week my bitch. That's what I'm doing today, Dwarf. Feel free to join me today, my man. Appreciate you, Beast, as always. Always welcome, Dwarf Noah. You always bring a smile to my face, my man. Hope you know that. W's. All right. Jovan, we're talking about March Madness. We're talking about all the one seeds still alive. Nobody's talking about another very important aspect of college basketball right now, the Crown Tournament.
Sure.
Starting up today. How about it? Not the CBI, not the NIT, but how about the Crown? Look, there's some people in chat right now who are saying, what the hell is Krabs talking about? I've never even heard of the Crown. Well, the Crown is a new tournament. It's starting up. I think actually today's the first day of it in Vegas, I believe. It's a new like NIL type tournament where the players, the teams get a lot of the proceeds that come in from, people watching and buying tickets and buying merch, whatever. There's some sort of revenue sharing model here with these teams involved. And there's some solid teams playing. Some bigger name schools still involved, Jovan. I don't know if they're going to be all, riled up and hyped up to play in this tournament. I'm assuming they will. If they still signed up and agreed to play, why would you sign up and agree to play and then, not really care or show up? If that's the case, then don't agree to play in one of these postseason tournaments. But I guess my point is, are you going to get full effort level from a team like Boise State playing a George Washington, right? Boise State gets their hearts ripped out. They don't make March Madness after a great year. They're one of the teams that's left out of the tournaments. Are you going to get their efforts, right, from Cardenas and co? Or are you going to get a Boise team that comes out flat? And could we get a fat, happy, complacent favorite here? And then maybe a team that doesn't have the talents, but they have more efforts, they have more drive, more motivation today, and they're trying to get more eyes on their NBA player down low for George Washington. Could you see more teams like that, the mid-majors, thrive in a tournament like this? Jovan, I don't really know. And this is kind of uncharted territory as well. We really don't know because it's the first year of this tournament. But if you had to guess, how do you think it plays out? And what's the motivation level for these? There's a couple like blue chip programs playing. You got Nebraska involved. You got Georgetown involved in this tournament, right? You got Butler, a college basketball, a school that everybody knows in CBB, right? In Butler. So how are these big name schools going to show up and show out in a tournament that doesn't mean shit?
Probably with points. I'll tell you that. I think Boise is probably, out of all the teams, probably the one you have to worry about the least motivation-wise because they're led by Cardenas and Dagenhart, who are maybe have sniffing around, some NBA or professional basketball after this, but realistically, I think they're going to fall a little short of that. So this is probably the best chance they have, especially with the bracket ahead of them. So I don't think you got to worry about them, but for the rest of the teams, there's probably not going to be very much defense played. That's kind of the gist that I get of it. Obviously, they're missing a bunch of guys. They're not incredibly coached well, so I feel like we're going to see a lot of ISO ball in a lot of these situations, just kind of see what offensive guys have in their bag. I think that's the perfect chance to figure it out because realistically, like these players, as much as the NIL is the, reward, I don't think that's a them motivation. That's probably more so a motivation for the program to see if they can win it in that way. The players aren't really going to be fighting for that. So I just think this is probably going to be a lot of offense in this tournament, and we'll find out today, I guess, some of these games.
Yeah, maybe a little lack of defense here. That's where we see the effort or I guess lack thereof effort in this tournament. I can see that. And maybe some teams trying to show up in these stat sheets, fill them up for the scouts. I'm sure there will be some NBA scouts tapped into this tournament trying to check out some veterans, some guys like that as well. So probably a pretty good take. We got 4 games going on tonight, Jovan, in the Crown. Don't get too excited. Okay, but we do have 4 college basketball games tonight. They're not going to make us wait till the Final Four this coming weekend. I guess we could start and take a peep at a couple of these real quick. If you don't love anything, just let me know. But Utah Butler, any thoughts on this game? I guess we still have Patrick McCaffrey up and moving. I believe he's playing in this game.
Yeah, I haven't heard any different, but I'll probably lean Utah, if anything. That's like out of all the teams, I guess that's like the most system-based. I don't want to say the players don't mean shit, but like their system is very strict and rigid. So if there's any change in that, any lack of motivation in that, it really shouldn't affect them as much as I think the others in that Butler team just, I don't think, can defend whoever they throw out there.
I kind of liked Butler, man. Shit. But Utah is catching some steam, up from 1.5 to 2.5. That I did notice.
Yeah, they probably should.
Total in that game is on the move up as well, along with every game today. The totals are all moving up in all these games. So maybe your theory holds true. Maybe we get a little increase in points, uptick in points, and lack of defense tonight. I could see it.
It's kind of weird. I mean, the whole situation there, because Utah, new coach, bunch of players are gone. I was surprised to see them as favorites in the first place.
Yeah. It's a good point. They do have the better record, but definitely not as good of a program as Butler is. We got DeGen coming in, giving out 5 subbies. Let's go, DeGen. Sure we can. Attaboy. W's. We appreciate you, Beast. How about 5 subbies coming in from DeGen Weekly? If you guys got blessed up, drop a W in the chat. Hell yeah. He said raise first fivers. All right.
There we go.
Sure we can. Shamway coming in, resubbing as well with Prime. Guys, make sure you all get 1 free Prime subby per year. And if you haven't cashed that in yet, maybe you could skip some ads over here on the Bookit Sports Twitch. We get Step Back Harden coming in as well, dropping the resub. Long time no see, boys. Happy to see the MLB season back. Keep killing it. W Step Back Harden. We appreciate you, Beast.
Let's go.
W subbies. Hell yeah. Yeah, KBO postponed all the games. Pretty soft. And I got some rain aloof over there. So it happens.
Rip.
Usually when one game gets rained out, and there's a good chance they all do, because although all the stadiums are all around the country's not that big. So sometimes they just all get rained out. Sucks. W to Jen, and Alex likes Utah on the ML from me as well. Okay. What about George W. facing off against Boise State? We mentioned it a little bit earlier, Jovan. You like the Jen Hart and Cardenas maybe showing some effort in this game, maybe trying to get some scouts or some NBA eyes. Don't be surprised if Castro is drawing the eyes of some NBA scouts as well. This guy's a 7-foot behemoth. I could see him being a backup in the NBA for years to come. Plays defense, hasn't been playing basketball that much. Foreign guy who still has a lot of improvement ahead of him, I feel like, but athletically and just raw talent. Certainly a guy to watch out for. And to be honest with you, Boise doesn't really have anybody to match up against him down low. A lot of Boise's bigs like to play out in the perimeter. You got Omar Stanley, doing Lord knows what. You got DeGen Hart, who's one of their bigs, running around, hitting threes every once in a while, getting on the corner, sometimes bringing the ball up as well, top of the key. You see him really doing it all. I'm curious to see where they end up trying to move Rafael Castro around the courts. That's a guy who, sure, he could bang a 3 or 2, but, he thrives around the paint inside the perimeter, and I feel like he's going to try to hang around down low, and maybe you see that end up impacting Boise State and what they got going on. Maybe that ends up having to draw into Jen Hart, to play a little bit more defense down low, maybe wears him out a little bit offensively. But I do feel like Rafael Castro, probably the X factor, and I'm not surprised to see his points and assist combo, Jovan, is one of the more popular squares on Prize Picks for college basketball today. He has a good mismatch in this contest because there's really no big who I feel like can really defend him on the Broncos.
Yeah. I like Boise State in general, tournament-wise, but this one reeks of a win and no cover, in my opinion.
Wow.
I think George Washington will keep this game close. I think Castro, like you said, big mismatch for them, and he's going to want to show out just as much as the seniors for Boise State are going to want to show out. So I think this will be close.
Yep. Now let's talk about Bryce Williams. You think Bryce Williams has been locked in this week, just hitting it the same way he was all season, grinding, waking up 5 a.m., wiping the crusties out, hitting the gym? Or do you think maybe – oh, you do?
I think he's locked.
Because you think maybe Bryce Williams, kind of like the two guys on Boise you mentioned who, bless their hearts, would love to see them maybe get a shot. But I think Bryce Williams might have a little bit more of a chance, an opportunity to impress some scouts and maybe get to the next level and have a chance to at least get to the G League, right? That's kind of what you're hinting out there?
Yeah, just a little bit. And we don't have the Sharp Report today. Breaking news for chat. We're just going to have to, figure out our plays and put them out there some other way. But we'll discuss a couple. One of the squares, 100%, was going to be Bryce Williams points. I think he's going to demolish this Arizona State team, especially because I think he has a pretty sour taste in his mouth where Nebraska was fighting on the bubble for a little bit, and he dropped an absolute stinker in their last game against Iowa, of all teams.
7 points.
Yep. Yeah, 7 points, 3 of 12 from the field, didn't hit a single three. He was awful, and that came directly after he dropped 40, with the back against the wall in that OT Ohio State game. So Arizona State's only in this tournament because the Big 12, they're one of the teams or one of the conferences or groups or whatever you want to call them. They the crown was their idea. So they had to send as many teams as humanly possible, which for them had to include Arizona State into this just for namesake. So Arizona State, they've got 7 players playing tonight. I would be surprised if this one is close.
Okay. So not only you like Bryce Williams more than 21.5 points, but you probably like Nebraska laying 5.5.
Yeah, I think Arizona State is far beyond dead.
Yeah. All right. I could not agree more, and that's a really good point there with Bryce Williams, maybe trying to make one more lasting impact on some NBA scouts, or at least try to wipe away that abysmal performance against Iowa, where he dropped 7 points in that last game, right? Finish the season on a high note. He's had one heck of a year as well. I hope he does. One more game in CBB tonight, chat. Georgetown against Washington State. Don't get too excited now, folks. But Georgetown, almost called him GW, but we already got a GW playing today. Georgetown as favorites without their big man against Washington State, a team that's probably also packing up shop, getting ready for next season. I was surprised to see them even playing or partaking in this tournament. But, Washington State team that really doesn't impress me much, and I much rather bet on Micah Peavy to go out there and do job for Georgetown. And I'm sure Ed Cooley, can he really even afford to ever take his foot off the gas at this point? I feel like he's going to do everything he can to impress, the boosters, the alum, everybody around, Washington, D.C., and prove that they made the right call paying this guy all this money to come in here. Maybe we see a motivated Ed Cooley trying to win this tournament for no reason. I really could not see or find a single way that Washington State shows up for any type of motivation or for any type of reason. What does Wazoo have to play for?
Especially because I'm not really sure who's playing for them because the way they've been making it sound, or Coach Riley's been making it sound in the media, talking about all of those guys as the reporters have been asking. There's not a guy he felt very confident or sounded very confident about playing, whether it was Watts or Comes or any of those guys. He's been very cryptic in the media. So this game screams we're going to show up or get to this 11 p.m. tip, and Washington State is going to be trotting out damn near a whole new starting five, which scares the shit out of me out of anything in this game, really.
Yep. I think Calmise, I saw a graphic already. And look, maybe I see 100 graphics a day for guys hitting the portal every single day now.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
Jovan, it's nuts. And he could still, I guess, technically play if his name's in the portal, right? Like we saw in college football. So that's another weird, twist, I guess, to the Big 2-5 in these postseason tournaments. Super weird. Because although Nate Calmise has probably played, or a lot of people probably think he's played his last game for Wazoo, he technically could still play in this tournament and then keep his name in the portal and go transfer somewhere else for his senior season. Super weird. Jovan, I don't know, man. I'd be shocked if he goes out there and risks an injury and risks, a payday for next season, right? I feel like the time of the Big 2-5.
I'd be very surprised. Between him and Watts are the ones that seem like the most, I don't know, the highest probability that you don't see them, but there's still guys like I don't know, Ethan Price. I don't know what the hell he's doing. The other Watts, I don't know what the hell he's doing. Like, there's a bunch of question marks that make this one very odd.
I guess they asked the coach, David Riley, on Calmeese and Watts hitting the portal. He said, each of those guys did a ton for this program. Love the hell out of them. Excited for their future. Says he's glad that the players can go get paid. Wishes there are obviously more chances for long-term development, but he gets it, and kind of seems like in this video, probably won't be seeing those two gents anymore playing on with this uniform.
The thing I'm like interested to see is like this is a whole NIL-centered tournament. Obviously, more about the money for the schools that actually win, but I don't know. Maybe there's some type of play your way in like mentality from some of these guys on some of these teams.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of important heads watching this tournament with eyes in this tournament, especially being that it's in this super odd time slot, which was probably very, very intentional to where we're watching, as far as college basketball goes, nothing but this tournament from, the end of the Elite Eight to the Final Four. So maybe some of these guys that you don't expect to show up and lace them up, but I guess we won't really know that until the games start.
Yeah, that might be enough crown for one day, folks. Maybe we'll circle back and talk some squares potentially, but I feel like that's probably enough CBB for today. And maybe we pivot, take our talents to South Beach, AKA let's go. Beach. AKA that's just an expression that LeBron said that I'm copying, and let's head to the Diamonds. Let's pivot. Didn't he say that, I think, back in the day? I remember him grabbing the mic and making it all about himself and saying, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. I remember.
Oh, I remember, Krabs. That was a great childhood moment.
Big day for you. Yeah, big day for you. Sure. Also, another good point I heard on a broadcast last night, and, funny because I was asking Jovan, like, what school in Florida does he root for? I guess it's, close to where he's from, Tampa-ish area, and you said USF, right? And then I'm starting to think, and I hear the commentators talking about it on a broadcast the other night saying, why is USF when USF is not really in South Florida? Isn't it kind of like Central West Florida?
Yeah,
How'd they get that name?
It's more central than anything, but I mean,
but they already have UCF, I guess, is what they said, and
I
don't know. I was confused.
Central, it's a weird thing, but I mean, it's more southern. I think like technically, it's like right below the halfway line of Florida. So like technically, it's south. It's just not incredibly south.
Yep. Yeah, technically it is. You're right. But they made a good point. It threw me off a little bit. But we're still USF supporters. And we saw they got a good coach a couple days ago, right, for CBB. So we'll see how that pans out, right? Yeah. All right, let's lock in here, Jovan, because we do have the Goots Bowl. First pitch in about, an hour and a half. We got Goots on ground, boots on ground. If anybody is, local and head to the O's game and chat, if you see Goots, you better take a picture with them. That's a fucking celebrity walking around. You better gas him up as well. Goots will be on ground watching the pitcher's duel of the century, Jovan. How about Newcomb versus Povich?
Yeah. I mean, it's,
how about it?
I don't know, 4 days into the MLB season, I guess technically a little more than that, and we already have the most obvious over maybe of the entire season. I'm sure with this being a standalone game, everybody and their mother is going to have coin on somehow, some way, which is going to be crazy.
So what are we thinking?
I mean, there's definitely some guys to get invested in this game, really on either side. There's some squares up, a lot of them. Extended, I don't want to say bullpen game for the Orioles because Povich is starting, but his leash is probably not incredibly long. It's damn near a full bullpen game for the Red Sox. So it's kind of hard to figure out which Orioles you want to take because you don't know exactly what arms are going to follow and for how long. But for Povich, you got the righty killers or the righty bats, lefty killers like Rob Refsnyder. That's probably going to hit card.
You kind of like the Yerfie in this game?
I mean,
does it make too much sense?
Is that on the board?
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it actually is.
That's insane that's on the board. That looks like the easiest Yerfie of all time.
And it's -125 on the books.
That's it? With a 9.5 total?
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of the opening day first Nerfie that I was obsessed with and nuked the Nerfie. And it was -140 in the books, actually. And Next thing you know, there was an immediate home run in the first pitch at the bottom of the first to cash the earthy. So, yeah, it's giving me the same vibes. Jovan, wise it up.
Yeah, it's definitely really odd.
Except it's reversed, I guess, with the one I was talking about, where that was a nerfy. And this is the yerfy that looks kind of easy. And it's making me want to take the nerfy, if that makes any sense, Jack. Giovanna Krabs, I've been picking 2 players from a game to get a hit for plus $100. May I know one guy who's getting a hit today? Giovanna, any people top of mind? Any MLB goats top of mind you think are getting a base knock? Could be somebody in this game, to be honest with you, if we like some runs later on.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of could. I don't really know. I haven't got there yet. We can circle back.
Maybe Rob Refschneider.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Rob. Problem is, there's definitely pinch hit risk at some point.
He's got that 1.5 hits run RBI square up there too. I wouldn't mind taking, but you're right. It definitely
that's what I was
me.
Alluding to.
Yeah, guy getting.
You're taking a hit parlay, which I really wouldn't advise doing ever for a long time. But if you're going to do it, you probably want to make sure it's a guy who's in the lineup for the entirety of the game for certain.
Yep, you're right. All right. Any other thoughts on Red Sox O's?
No,
I mean, a couple.
I have a brain. I like runs in this game like everybody else. Not going to take it, though, because if they don't score runs, there's 2 things today. If that game does not have 10 runs and if Vladdy doesn't get 2 bases, people are moving on to the NFL.
Yep.
So I'll let people have those and root on the sidelines for them.
Okay. Krabs, can we talk about Dylan Cruz for a second? Actually, no, we can't. We don't have time for that today, unfortunately. We don't have time to talk about how he's struck out 8 straight at bats, I believe. Or at least like 9 times in 2 games. What'd you say today? Oh,
today.
I hope so, because, I mean, dude, he looks like he's never played baseball ever. It looks like it was his first game over the weekend. And he was making errors in the outfield. He was in his own heads. He was, calling off Jacob Young, star center fielder, making a weird pop-up.
Star center
sketchier than it had to be. Young. It was, star defensive center fielder.
Yeah.
He actually is. But yeah, you're right. He's no star overall. But it was just like a weird weekend for Dylan Cruz, Jovan. He's nervous up there at the plate. He's swinging at everything. He's swinging early. He's getting out in front. It looks. I saw a tweet about it. It almost looks so bad that it's less concerning with how bad it looks, because it's almost like it's got to be an easy tweak that the coach is going to see and say, "Hey, buddy, make this move and you'll be fine." It's almost like so concerning that it's not concerning, right? Because like somebody in that clubhouse has to be able to figure out what the hell he's doing wrong. And like P-Dub's saying, yeah, it's opening weekend. The guy's nervous as hell. The stadium is more filled than it'll be all the rest of the season. A lot of pressure for Dylan Cruz showing up, showing out, being an everyday player this season, and it's probably getting to him a little bit. He needs to take a deep breath and hit the reset button and keep the blinders on and just go out there and play baseball is what he's got to do. But Jovan, I'm excited to hear that you think he goes out there and does job today. We'll get to that game in a moment. Don't worry, I'll ask you about it.
There'll probably be some bats in that game. You know where I really think? I think this weekend, this series, I feel like he's going to explode because he's I don't know. You couldn't hit like power off speed. That's always been his thing. But like coming into the season, he's worked on it, but still struggle with a little power off speed from the Phillies. But guess who has pitchers that I love, but a lot of fastball pitchers? The D-backs. You get to see this weekend. So I feel like that'll be not just him, but James Wood too. Could have a pretty good series there, no matter who they throw out. But I think you'll put eyes on that series and you'll be excited.
Bless James Wood, CJ Abrams, Dylan Cruz hearts, but I've never seen a group of young gents look like they've never seen a 2-seam fastball in their entire life. Been watching them face Aaron Nola yesterday. And I know we got the win, so it doesn't matter, but these guys are standing there. They've never seen a 2-seam. And they've never seen a ball move like that in their entire life. James Wood had 3 strikeouts, all non-swinging, all looking. I've never seen it. They were like baffled. They were mind blown by Aaron Nola's 2-seam. Like they've never seen a pitch like that in their life. Did they not prep this season filthy for Aaron? I know it's filthy. He's nasty. His curveball, right? His knuckle curve and his 2-seam are disgusting. You're right. But you're James Woods. You CJ Abrams. Figure it out. Put the ball in play once. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, at least they're not Devers.
Yeah.
Devers
Paddock.
is bad. Yeah, go ahead.
He'll be all right, though. Paddock and Perez. Okay, we got Chris Paddock up and moving. Twins still looking for their first win here, Jovan. 0-3. White Sox already got their first win of the season. They're off the schneid. Total in this game is at 7.5. Thought that was a little bit low with these two pitchers on the bump, but maybe we get an under, and maybe the Twins are getting a little bit more respect than I expected. -190. It's not, Ober on the bump. It's not Joe Ryan on the bump. It's Chris Paddock. -190. I know they're facing off against the White Sox, but the White Sox look much better in their opening series compared to the Twins.
Yeah.
Still the White Sox still going to get disrespect, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you think this line's as weird as I do with the Twins? -190 or?
I don't think so. Okay. But, I mean, it's not to say I don't lean with where your head's at, thinking the Twins get on the board today.
Yeah. I don't want to lay a run line with that low of a total, and I certainly am not laying a -190.
Yeah, the total definitely should be higher.
No shot.
Given the conditions there. I know it's not the warmest there, but there's fat wind blowing out. I was expecting some sort of, I don't know, compensation for that. They're not giving it. So you're probably going to get one of those random Martin Perez starts where he figures it out, like the Twins get a solo shot or two off of him and not much else. They win the game. It's closer than it should be. It's just a gross overall game to bet.
Yeah, I think that total's pretty low as well. Kind of wanted to get involved with that under, but it might be too nasty. Pega, I don't know why Juan Yepez is on AAA, my man. I don't know. But that's a combo for another time. We don't have time for that today. Beeves on the Twins. Okay.
It's every game, dude.
Yeah, he is a Twins fan.
Yeah, you can't use that as it's the other team argument because it's every single game. It's been like that for as long as he's been a thing.
I do like that under. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to take it. Was looking at the two pitchers in this game on their prize pick squares here. Paddock's got, and where did Paddock's square go? There it is. I forgot there's an A in there. He's got a 4.5 hits allowed square that if there's some wind blowing out, and I know the chart doesn't matter because it's from, previous seasons, but kind of like the less than on that hits allowed square and makes me like the under even more, and wouldn't mind his more than fantasy score either. I'm going to go look and see what they have up for our guy Perez, but I'm assuming it's probably much of the same. I'm going to see some squares here. Yeah, like he's up for 3.5 hits allowed.
Yeah.
I know it's a goblin, but come on now. I think it's that under. We might be coming back to that.
Sure.
Okay. No lineups yet, T. Crizzy. All right, let's keep moving and grooving here. Jovan, we got Bubic on the bump.
Yeah, I like Bubic, but I don't like him today.
Really?
Coming off of that, I don't know, horrible series against the Yankees where a lot of things didn't go their way. Pitching was just absolutely awful. Now you have a bullpen game. This is probably where it comes together, especially like when the Brewers pitching staff is able to be in like its best elements when they're matching up with teams like this, which the Royals are one of the most matchup dependent lineups in baseball. They're back at home where they're a slight favorite. This is probably where the Brewers gets it done. If there's any midday MLB play that I am taking, it is definitely the Brewers, as much as it pains me to anti-Bubic this early.
Wow. Looks like the Caps are calling up their top prospect too for this week. Caps are calling up Ryan Leonard. Anybody ever heard of him in chat? Any of my hockey goats? Is that a big deal for my Caps? Ryan Leonard, our top prospect, getting the call. He's a goat, Capture CS is saying.
Interesting timing.
Yeah, with what they're trying to accomplish right now, you're saying?
Yeah.
Ovi trying to break a all-time points record.
Yeah.
Goals record, excuse me. That is kind of weird, but maybe they're just loading up for the postseason. How about another goal last night for Ovi as well? I think he only needs 5 more to break the records. Crazy.
Goated.
USA World Junior Champ. Or sorry, captain. Capture saying CS. Okay. Krabs, you're getting a goat. Wow. All right. So you're telling me my biased group chat is not actually incorrect about this one and the hype is deserved. Okay. Let's go, Ryan Leonard. Sure we can. Excited to see him out there on the ice. And yeah, shout out Ovi for going out there doing his thing. Game in, game out. How does he do it?
Yeah.
Jovan, you said you like Bookit, but you don't like him today.
Yeah.
You like the Brewers on the money line?
I do. I'm going to be on that.
Yeah, I don't blame you, to be honest with you. They're still looking for their first win.
They are.
Maybe they get their first win. Maybe they get off the schneid today after a pretty embarrassing trip to New York. Right?
Really bad.
Kind of got emasculated.
Couldn't be worse. And I feel like the Brewers, I mean, a lot of their offense, I mean, they're just horrible in that series, but I feel like in general, they're going to be a pretty drastically different home and road team this year. And that's not just speaking of the fact that they went on the road to New York and got absolutely killed, but that was kind of the same sentiment I shared about Hoskins. Like, I feel like he's going to do so much of his damage, and like the power hitters are really going to bring it up, both when they're at home and they're playing divisional opponents. Like, you can check at least one of those boxes today. Plus, he gets to see a lefty, and they get a couple of them this week, period. So excited. I think he gets on the board pretty soon here. Maybe it's today. Who knows? But yeah, I think the Brewers bounce back for one today.
Kind of agree. I think they get off the schneid and get their first win. Beef Stewski, if you want to take that Yurfie, take it on the green book because the odds are -125 for the Yurfie. I'm looking at it right now. Knock, knock. Who's there? How about a torpedo bat? Hey, nothing a torpedo bat can't fix, right?
You know what the torpedo bat is, Krabs? This is the perfect.
It's a handout?
No, it's not a handout. You know what it is? It's a power swing in the show. That's what it is.
Ooh.
It's pretty much a gamble on you to hit the ball where, I don't know, the analytics tell you you're hitting the ball on the bat. So if you hit it there and it's a great source of contact, obviously you're going to get rewarded significantly more for it. But if you hit it anywhere else, you're cooked.
Now, I respect and I appreciate and I like that comp. And I think you're correct. But I still think it's a handout. I do. I feel like you're rewarding people who can't get their hands through the fucking swing.
Well, no, yeah.
And they can't
don't get me wrong.
The
I hate the sentiment of it because you're 100% right.
Dude.
It's a reward for not barreling up the ball.
I've been told my entire life the most important part of your swing, get your hands through, keep your hands inside. That's the most important, most underrated part of your swing. Get your hands through.
Yeah.
Right? If your hands aren't fast enough, you're not built for it. You don't just get to fucking move the barrel to where you're making contact because you can't get your fucking hands through. That's not how sports works. I know that's how the Yankees probably think life works, but you can't just, move shit around when it's not working. You actually have to work harder and maybe, spend some extra time at practice or maybe go to the batting cage or give a hoot, right? These are all things that can maybe potentially benefit your offense besides just getting mad that you're not hitting enough home runs, besides guys like Aaron Judge, and moving the barrel because these small little guys on the Yankees couldn't get their hands through because they're small little guys facing 100 miles an hour, right? Shocking to hear that Jazz Chisholm can't get his hands through on these swings against 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, right? Let's just move the barrel to where he keeps making contact. Yeah, that seems fair to me, right? It doesn't. It doesn't. I'll say it. And anybody making the comparison saying it's just like golf clubs, it's not. In golf, you can't just make, you can't take your 5-iron and balloon it up, take a bike pump to it, make it 10x the size, and make it easier for you to fucking hit the ball down the fairway. That's not how golf works. It's not how life works. You shouldn't be able to say, I suck at this, instead of improving it, working at it. You can't just take a handout and move the fucking barrel to where you're making contact. No, it rubs me the wrong way. It really does.
It won't be as much of a big deal after like a month, partially because
100%. Yeah,
like the effects of it, like you'll probably see it too. If any team is using it and they'll have like a significant advantage and they play it in Yankee Stadium, the effect's going to be balloons. Like if a road team comes in that uses them, you're probably going to see a lot of the same stuff happens, or a lot of the same stuff happen. But when the Yankees go on the road, same deal. There won't be as much of an effect, so it'll die down after a bit. Teams are going to use it, but it's going to be even on every playing field, so it won't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, I already saw yesterday afternoon, about an hour or two after I posted that TikTok, of course, you start seeing pictures of other teams using them. And then everybody's saying, well, they're not the only team. Well, that's some new info that has recently come out that I've learned about too. You're right. It's not just the Yankees. Seen the Twins using it. Lindor was apparently using it, although I've never seen a picture of it. People just keep saying it and they see it and they keep repeating it. I've never seen a picture of Lindor using it yet. I'd love to see it. But the Yankees, we know, are using it. And that one guy on the Twins, I think it was Miranda. I saw a picture of him using it on the feet. We got Estamico coming in, dropping a resub, 40 months with the Goats. 40 months. Estamico. And it was Jeffers, you're right. Okay. W. Estamico, we appreciate you, Beast, getting involved. W's. All right, let's keep moving and grooving here, Jovan. We've got a couple other games to get to here on the Diamonds. And I want your thoughts on old man German Marquez getting up and moving on the roads in Philly. I don't know if you saw that earned run square up there on the board, but he does have one up there.
Yeah.
Now, hey, if you took this square the last 3 games against the Phillies, you're rich because the less than 2.5 earned runs hit for every single pitcher on the Nats. So I'm not sprinting to the books to lock this in. And I also do think there's some aspects of this that make sense as well, where maybe there's some shadows around this time too that could end up benefiting Marquez and helping him out, but also some winds blowing in.
No.
Still thought it was kind of weird.
Other way, blowing that out.
Wow. So let me ask you this, Jovan. Is it weird seeing that 2.5 earned run square up there for German Marquez? Or, after the Phillies didn't score much early on in their first couple games of the season, maybe it's not that weird. And it just looks kind of weird on the surface.
It's definitely a little weird because I've seen a lot of Phillies ladder talk on the feed.
Wow.
Not just the -1.5, but much, much higher. The team totals, like this just being an absolute rout, which I get the sentiment of. Marquez isn't very good, and it's a pretty bad matchup for him, so I wouldn't be surprised if that takes place. But there's outside of maybe that Orioles over, it doesn't seem like there's many easier buttons to push today. It's like, take your pick. Something's going wrong between those 2 games.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I wish it was that easy. If it was, we would not be on the show. We'd be in the Galapagos Islands. Right?
Yeah.
They're not going 2-0.
So. Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. But
what's good with Trey Turner? Is he okay? So he got hurt this weekend.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Mary? Okay.
Yeah. Seemed like it.
Curious if he's in the lineup this afternoon. I'm sure somebody in chat could tell me. Kumar Rocker taking the ball today. This is an interesting matchup, Jovan.
Very.
You got Kumar Rocker and the Rangers against Brady Singer and the Reds. Kumar Rocker, if you don't know, guys, he was a big name for Vanderbilt back in the day and took a weird route to the pros, played independent ball instead of, accepting his draft spot or something, and had some arm injuries. And, a couple years go by. Next thing you know, he's here, he's back up there, and he gets one more shot here to, I guess, stay in the starting rotation. He is in it right now. He is on the road today and a favorite against Brady Singer, who's making his debut on his new team, Jovan, for the Reds. Would love to hear the reports. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, this is an odd game because it's the rare good day for pitchers, I guess, in Great American Ballpark, even though you really don't think that with a 9 total. But this is one of the coldest days I think they're going to have in Great American Ballpark for the entirety of the season. It's in like the 40s with, I still think, a little wind out, so it doesn't completely help the pitchers, but it's not the best offensive environment. So it would kind of be funny if this is the one day you get runs after the last couple games. They've been pretty dormant. But yeah, a lot of people like Kumar Case today, understandably so. Reds offense, they've been doing the same thing they did the last couple of years. A lot of whiffs, a lot of strikeout stuff, very, high risk, high reward approach to offense. Like, I think Kumar can have a pretty solid day. But Brady Singer is the innings eater for this Reds team, it seems like right now, because like Hunter Green, he's more of like I don't want to say he's not an innings eater, but he's going to do what we think is going to be a little different than that, especially in the next handful of starts. I guess sans a few. Singer's like the guy that, especially before I think Nick Martinez pitches tomorrow, they need to go deep in the game. And the reason why I thought he was such a good addition for the Reds is because they needed a ground ball guy, sinker baller in that ballpark especially. And now that you get him in like this type of environment too, where it's pro pitcher for the one of the only times he's going to start in the Great American. Like, I don't want to fade that. It's like they think this could be just another sleepy game, maybe before it explodes tomorrow.
Yeah. It could be a sleepy game. Maybe it's a sneaky under.
Yeah.
Shit. You know, Brady Singer's got that earned run square up there, obviously. Would love to take that less than.
Sure.
And making his debut on his new squads. Oh, we got a Cade Povich earned run square up there now. That wasn't up here earlier, Jovan.
Lord.
Wow. That's interesting. I might have to get some eyes on the odds for that shit. Let's see. Cade Povich. It was not up before, Jovan, which tells me the odds might have been moving and grooving. Although I'm seeing
even both ways. I'm seeing.
Yeah. What the heck happens? Huh. I'd pay to know what it was at before. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to get that luxury. So very interesting.
Probably not. I'll tell you what, though, Krabs. You know what happens to be pretty funny about this Rangers-Red series? So it's supposed to be pretty cold there today and tomorrow. The game that it magically warms up for is the rubber match.
Oh, sure.
And that's the Wednesday, like, noon game. You know who's pitching that game?
Who?
That would be Hunter Green.
Okay.
It magically just goes up to like 80 degrees after 2 straight games in the 40s and 50s. How does that set up? Especially because the Reds are actually horrible in rubber match games. Like the third final game of the series.
Offense.
Yeah, it's a lot of times not really due to the pitching. They just can't score. But
right,
I'll be all eyes there, of course.
Okay,
isn't that a coincidence?
That's a good coincidence. Could be, at least. Right, go out there and do yob. All right, what are your thoughts on Cal Quantrill pitching at home today? And I'll be back in 30 seconds. But give me your thoughts on Cal Quantrill pitching at home plus chicken against Peterson, Jovan.
I think this might be a sneak banger of a game. I kind of like runs in this one. I definitely like the Mets to hop all over Cal, which it's always a tricky situation, I guess. Like fading Cal and was the first start or what seems like semi-obvious to do so. But I don't know. The Mets came from a kind of a rough like hitting environment game or hitting environment weekend period, but they're going to Miami, controlled environment. Some of the bats have not been the hottest to start the season. I think you see that now. I think you even get some of the bottom of the lineup, which matches up, I think, pretty well with Cal to step up and score some runs in this one. So we'll see. I don't know exactly what the leash of Cal is coming into this game because like he didn't pitch that long in the spring. So if you're overexposing the Marlins bullpen, that's always a good thing. I know it really didn't matter in the Pirates series because the Pirates bullpen is equally bad, if not more awful, and they definitely were worse in that series. You'll probably see it mean a little something in this game, but the Marlins are also a little pesky to the point where I do think some of their righties can get something off of David Peterson or even like Xavier Edwards leading off from the other side of the plate. So I kind of like runs in this game. I think I wouldn't rule out like the Mets just absolutely exploding offensively and this finally being the game that they figure it out, but it is Cal, so it always is a question, but I think you'll find out very, very early exactly what this one is. Like the Mets, if they are going to jump all over Cal, you're probably going to see the quickest Yurfie in the history of Yurfies. If they're going to kind of skate by and do the same thing, then probably need something off the bullpen. But I'm definitely down to fade your guy today, Krabs.
Fading Cal, as square as it might be. I think he's just toast. I do. Could that be a decent lay piece? Or are we not doing that in the Big 2-5?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that in the Big 2-5 yet.
Okay.
But I do think they win. Not enough to lay a minus 200 lay piece in the Mets, though.
All right. That's fair. I kind of want to fade Cal Quantrill. Maybe it's just a run line then with the Mets. Just sack it up.
I mean, yeah. I feel like if they win this game, I don't think these games are going to be like the Pirates series where it's back and forth, close at the end. Like if the Mets are going to win, it's probably going to be by murder in GTA.
Okay. Yeah. I don't disagree. They probably either win by 5 or they lose outright.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get the Rays reports?
Future participant in the All-Star game, Drew Rasmussen, on the mound today.
Sure, your guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, and you got Ledzinski, who the Pirates are trying to turn into a starter. So it's not a bullpen game, but he's probably not going to have super long of a leash. The one thing I guess I did kind of notice about the stuff in the Rays game, or stuff in Steinbrenner specifically, Friday and Saturday, they played the game at like 3 p.m. So like halfway through the game, even before that, sometimes fat shadows like between the plate and the pitcher, which didn't help. They also had wind coming in, which I guess they did some study and like sneakily one of the biggest wind affected parks just by, I don't know, per capita wind or whatever the stupid official name of it is Steinbrenner. So like the slightest bit of wind will make a large effect. And it was coming in the first 2 games. And then it finally, not only did they play the game at a normal time on Sunday, but the wind also was kind of even. So it wasn't coming in. We saw runs. Today, not only is the wind not coming in, it's going out pretty heavy. So I think we're going to see runs, hopefully not from Rasmussen. I think he have a pretty strong performance, but this could seem like the time where the Rays offense finally puts it together for some runs. And obviously the Pirates, if you get any extended innings off that bullpen, give the Rays offense because they need a spark. They're bad. And in a pretty tough spot because they've had heavy usage in that entire Marlins series.
You're saying sweet things in my ears, Jovan, that are making me want to take the Mets on the ML and the Rays on the ML, even though we specifically said that's not allowed about a minute and a half ago. You're telling me, you're telling me Cal Quantrill takes the bump today against Juan Soto, and we're not taking the Mets on the ML, and we're not fading Moldinskis. But let's be fucking real here. 9 out of 10 people don't know who that is. And if they did, the one guy.
He's not a bad arm.
He wasn't a bad reliever, but surely it goes well putting him out there in the starting rotation.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably not going to be out there for 5 or 6 innings. He'll probably be out there for, depending on how efficient he is, like 3 or 4. I mean, maybe less if they have some other plan, but the way their bullpen has been taxed, they might need a little longer of a leash. We'll kind of see how it plays out, but I get your sentiment.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of looks like a plus chicken two-piece to me. But that also might be a little too easy. And that might make a little bit too much sense. Right, chat? Right, Geek Goot? Yeah, I agree, Geek Goot. Okay. Would love the Rav report on that arm Moldinskis. See if Rav knows ball. You know anything about this kid, Rav? Let me know. Former bullpen arm turned starter. Could be the next Paul Skeens. Who knows? Only one way to find out tonight. Okay. All right. Sometimes it is that easy. You know, a good point from my cousin over here, Lobster Bats. Typically don't agree with him in the lobster community over there. But Jovan, you know, sometimes, very rarely, very rare, and less often than occurs, right? Less than 50%. More like 20. But sometimes it is that easy. So you got to give Lobster Bats credit. Every once in a while it is. Okay. Why are the Nats looking strange? I don't know. And I would love a non-biased take, to be honest, on this game. So maybe I'll just give Jovan the floor because whatever I say about this game, chat, I mean, let's be real here. It's not moving needle because I'm going to gas up Soroka and say that he's a future all-star. And you guys aren't going to believe it. You're not going to buy it. You're not going to think it's true. So I'll give the floor to somebody who's a little non-biased here. I could talk about the Blue Jays and the Nats. Jovan. Bo and Francis.
You can't even put me in the non-biased category completely because I like the Jays this year. I'm invested on the win total, but I think the Nats might win this game too. I'm kind of with you. The thing about this, first of all, I like the whole they're taking a trip up to Toronto now. Feels like the offense kind of figures it out, puts some stuff together. Don Francis is good. He started to put some stuff together throughout the season. Like a lot of people thought regression was coming. We even faded him a time or two. Never really did. So like he's an arm I respect, but he's been really good against righties. The thing is, like a couple of the guys that I think are going to get going are like the James Wood, like Josh Bell is randomly okay now, and Nate Lau had a good second half. We like opened up the big three. The can of worms is opened. So like I think the lefties can get it going, and we'll see how that turns out. But I think he can have a pretty good game. The thing that the Blue Jays also do, they're like in that Orioles series that I watched a decent bit of, probably more than I should have. I was like super frustrated, not even with like any investment in them, but like they were outside of the win total, but they were swinging super early in counts. So like Soroka is just like a veteran approach type of guy that'll make you pay for stuff like that and can nibble at the corners. It's like I think it's a pretty solid matchup for him. I would not be surprised if the Nats took one.
Jack, can we all just agree to ignore that Sean Perry dude because he was obviously not loved or had any friends growing up? Can we all just agree to ignore that guy? I'm down to. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but I'm kind of in for that. Can we just leave that guy's name out of our mouths and out of the chat because he's not worth our time? He's a loser who just creates drama because he has no friends. Not worth our time. Okay? WOG Sour. Thank you. Krabs, can we hammer the Nats first fivers and just move on? I don't know, but I will say if you are going to bet the Nats this season,
should pretty much
you should take them first fivers. And yes, Jovan, 100%. And I do think chat's on the right track there.
But this is not one where I would say the Nats, like if there are a lot of games, like the Phillies, obviously I would give the Phillies a big edge in the bullpen. The Jays don't really have that right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although they might still have a little bit of an edge because I don't know if it gets worse.
They definitely have an edge. There's not many teams that don't have an edge. Like, I mean, how many bullpens are legit worse than the Nats? Like the Rockies are the only one that I can like definitively say that comes to mind.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. I have no counter. We don't have the guys. Brad Lords, your guy, Jovan. Brad Lords. Great story, right? Talked about him. He was working at Home Depot and Publix in the offseason, right? Great story. He makes the team. Bro, he goes in yesterday and fucking loads the bases up. First off, honestly, I'm happy Goots isn't here because this is just ridiculous and it's a Steam Krabs 3.0. But Jovan, are the Nats like a Make-A-Wish team or is this like some sort of joke? Or are we here to win games? Because although we did win the game still yesterday, what are we doing putting in Brad Lord against the best team in baseball, the Phillies, when we're only up 5 runs? Thinking we're up 10, 15 runs. We almost lost that game. The bases were cocked. No outs. We're lucky Kyle Finnegan goes in there and takes us to the pub and closes it out and rolls a ground ball, right? Jovan, that could have gone much worse. What are we doing putting in Brad Lord for his MLB debut? We're only up 5 runs. Jovan, turns out they put him in because his whole family was there this weekend at the ballpark. Is this some sort of joke?
That's unserious.
Or are we here to win baseball games? Oh, it's the most Davey Martinez move of all time, man. Oh, unbelievable.
Legit attitude.
Almost cost us a win yesterday, but it didn't, thank goodness. Insane. What is this? Some sort of story? Or is this like a movie, a Disney film, Pixar, a feel-good film? No. We're here to win games. Oh, that rubbed me the wrong way. I feel bad for Brad Lord. Wasn't his call. He was just listening to orders, right?
Yeah.
Handout appearance. You don't even want a handout appearance, do you? You should have to earn your first major league appearance. That's why you didn't go out there and pitch well. The baseball gods roasted him. Javon, with that being said, Nats, I'm out.
Lean that way with you.
Although I do want it on record, it's probably Nats first 5. Although today could be a day you could get away with it full game here, and Blue Jays bullpen isn't great. I do strongly recommend, even in this case, probably you take the Nats first fivers, and you don't even want to sniff guys like Jeff Sims getting involved. You don't want to go anywhere near these dudes. We're taking the rock and going out there. They are atrocious.
Yeah.
Your guy Poche, he didn't pitch yesterday. Horrible. You know what that means?
Horrible. Yeah, he's for sure coming.
Probably going to get a Poche appearance. Yep. Already seen it.
Yep.
All right. Let's keep moving to grooving here. Enough talking about my Nats. Any thoughts on Anderson versus Mikolas? Interesting pitching matchup tonight, in St. Louis between Anderson, who's an overperformer, and Mikolas, big name guy who's really been up and down the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I would say I know the Cardinals and Angels started off the season pretty wildly different. Cardinals were pretty impressive, even though the Twins were equally as bad in that series. But the bats showed up, which was pretty, I don't know, encouraging for them to see. But nobody really likes Mikolas, and I was a little surprised to see this -150, even though the game is in St. Louis. I thought it was kind of fat. It's like maybe this is a Tyler Anderson who does have a pretty tough matchup against a lot of the righties for the Cardinals. I think they might get him. They have a lot of good changeup hitters, a lot of patient hitters there. So I think he might have some trouble.
Okay. At the tail of all this time, I've been trying to fade Tyler Anderson and make coins for the last 2 years, Jovan, and it's cost me coins.
Oh,
right?
Surely.
Fellas.
Good morning.
How are we?
Excited for the week. Good slate today of baseball, to be honest with you.
Great slate, dude.
Yeah. Good slate. Perfect timing. We're talking about your guy Anderson and the Angels.
So moose shit, bro.
Hey, this dude's been pitching out of his mind now, at least for him, for the last 2 seasons. He was even an all-star, wasn't he, a year or 2 ago?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. And this guy always got disrespect on Prize Picks, had weirdo run squares, and he'd be one of the guys that just never came through fading him. So maybe we get a legacy season out of Anderson, but Javon's thinking maybe he gets roughed up a little bit today. And there's a reason why that over could be juiced. Is that probably the play here, Jovan, back at some runs?
Yeah, I mean, I lean Cardinals, but I mean, I'm not laying minus 150. Don't want to get into that overreaction after the first weekend, but it's where my head's at.
Yep.
Chalk, I'm already chalking it, bro.
Bro, we're chalking it already.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Mikolas has a 25.5 fantasy score square up there on Prize Picks. That, I mean, with how his last season went, I don't think it's high, but it's definitely not low, right? And looking at the chart, I mean, charts don't really matter in this economy at this point of time right now because a lot of those squares are from last season. But, I mean, it still looks kind of high relatively with how he's looked in his last couple appearances. So maybe it's just the Cardinals on the ML, Jovan, but then you got to lay the minus 150.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay. All right. That is some respect, though, catching about 20 cents of steam.
A little bit.
Maybe the Cards stay undefeated. All right. Giants and Astros. Jordan Hicks. Blanco Day. Any thoughts?
Probably another one where I kind of lean the Astros, partially because Jordan Hicks, I think, has a semi-tough matchup today, but he's also not been stretched out very long. So it's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of workload that's going to be on the bullpen today for the Giants, which I think is going to be better coming into the season, but I don't have full faith in. So I think this is a semi-tough spot for them. So like I lean the Astros, another one that I'm probably not going to play because I don't care for Blanco all that much either.
Yeah, go ahead and lock in your Devers squares today, chat. We got Trent chirping them already.
I wasn't even chirping, bro. It was like I was trying to stay quiet during the game because Javon was like, dude, shut up. You're going to fucking jinx it. And then he would strike out. Bro, it was like nobody else on that field looked at as bad at the plate than he did.
Yeah, he was really bad.
Bro, like the timing is so fucking off, dude, and you could see it. You could legit see it. It was tough to watch.
Pretty comparable to Dylan Cruz, who had 5 strikeouts in a game over the weekend. Yeah, some of these guys not out to the best start. Weird timing with Devers, with all the Bregman third base, weird, off-season drama, and people making the argument that you're taking the best player away from his position that he loves on his team. What's that going to do to the guy's confidence heading into the season? And it's only been 4 games, but not a great start offensively for Devers.
No,
and maybe he's in his own head a little bit.
It looked like if you could have the yips at the plate, that's what it looked like yesterday.
He looks like a guy who's in his own head. Yeah.
He's very in his head. You can tell. It's like everything he does at the plate. I mean, the timing's off, but it's all like seems super late. It's a lot of hesitation.
Late, dude.
Every movement seems like he's getting a jump on it, half a second too late.
Yeah.
It's really odd.
He sat in the dugout by himself post game. That's weird.
I mean, he's done that every fucking game so far.
A lot.
He's just being a knee guy, maybe.
Well,
Jared's saying he might
game. He might, but who really knows, dude? We got a midday MLB format. I am certain. Certain.
Christopher Sanchez, 10K betters, up and moving.
No Correa.
Like
thoughts on this?
I'm certain.
Kind of like runs, but the Yurfie seems a little too easy today, so you're probably not getting this in the first.
That's fine. We got 9.
And it's true.
I'm hearing Paddock. I'm hearing Twins pitchers have been getting short leashed, which would not be in favor of this more than fantasy score. But it's not like we need not like we need 35.
Yeah, just gotta go for the win.
Yeah. Cool. If we can go 5 with like hopefully like a run or 2 earned, nothing more.
Yeah.
I like his less than hits allowed, but that also could have something to do with him not having the longest leash.
Yeah, I was gonna take that, but then I feel like the White Sox have had some pretty good at bats against the Halos. I was like, I can just see me being on this and the White Sox just goat up.
Twins bullpen got worked this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, the Cards.
Yale had eyeballs on him.
It's a good nugget. Good nugget.
They were overworked. Yep. It's a good point. Yale's got to be feeling lit about his Cards. See if they can get another win today, but undefeated 3-0. Hey, maybe it's their year. Maybe it's their year. Yeah, it's a statement first series there against a Twins team that I like this season. They stuffed them in a locker.
Just got a text from Joshy. Just saw Josh Dobbs at the Chipotle by my place.
Okay. Sure he can.
Astronaut.
Sure he can. What is Josh Dobbs doing around these parts?
No clue.
Yeah, maybe he's working out for the Cowboys.
Or he's working out for what's the name of the XFL team or UFL team there?
Arlington Renegades.
Yeah.
Best team in the league.
Maybe he's getting something shaken down there. I don't even know if he still has an NFL contract. He could. I have no clue.
Shout out the DC Defenders, who I believe upset the Arlington Renegades, the best team in the UFL over the weekend.
No way.
Somebody in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but
banging for DC Defenders.
They were getting 7.5 points, and they came through and they won outright, Jovan. Jordan Tamu, you remember that kid? He's still hucking.
I do. Ole Miss legend.
Sure he can. Hey, our coach, I don't know why I'm saying R like I'm on the fucking team. The Defenders coach quit 5 days before the season to go take the Tennessee State head coach football job, going from a UFL professional team to Tennessee State. So that's not a great sign for the state of the league, probably for the UFL, but was very surprised to see Coach Barlow quitting on the team a couple days before the season, but they showed up and they showed out without Coach, Jovan. Got to be impressed.
All right, Krabs, man. What are we doing? What are we doing in this economy?
It's a great sports story. That's an underdog story.
Horrible. Really
no
bad.
Coach. No coach, no problem.
Would love if you just jump straight to the game of night.
What do you need?
Take me to.
Oh, we didn't talk about real game or square of night yet.
Take me to that, John.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Jovan.
Well, before that, 2 sharp report squares that I will say. The first one was Bryce Williams points. Second one is Jordan to cross plate. So we're doing that today.
Really, bro?
Yes. Really, bro.
Fucking, do you see Jordan off the fucking wall this weekend, dude?
Yep.
That
absolutely saw it.
23 out of 30 ballparks. That shit's gone.
Horrible.
Sure you can.
Really bad.
But I have one of my biggest wagers I've placed in quite some time on the Doyers.
Wow.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean.
And we're sweating that out.
Is it just for fun or?
No, dude. You got Glasnow on bump against the Braves. I watched that whole fucking game last night. They're dog shit.
The undefeated Doyers against the winless Braves.
How about the dog shit Braves? That's a combo that needs to be had.
Need to see it go through. If it doesn't hit, then whatever. But I'm also wailing Glasnow fantasy.
33.5. That's it?
Yeah, it feels a little low.
That feels incredibly low.
So, Trent, last night, you lose some coins on the Braves, right? I was on them too.
Yeah.
Thought they were coming through, getting their first win out there in San Diego. I thought they were salvaging the series. Little did we know that was a new shit play. It as soon as you switch and you take the other team and you hop back on fading the O for team, taking your Dodgers, you know it's about to happen.
I need to see it.
Braves get their first win. You need to see it with your own eyeballs?
Yeah.
All right. I get it. And they are catching a little steam. Maybe it's the fade the Sunday Night Baseball narrative. That's probably what it is, to be honest with you.
Always get steam.
There's some steam for the Dodgers, and it's also the Dodgers who are going to catch steam more often than not. But this is the 0-4 Braves we're talking about here. So at this point, it's like almost easy to pick up on, wanting to bet the Braves and catch the falling knife and back a good squad to get their first win. I think they got us last night. I don't know if I want to get got again. So I'm not going to get involved or fades the Dodgers and take the Braves here, Trent. But I'll be sitting that one out.
Respect.
The over is catching some steam. Jovan, do you think maybe we get some runs in this game tonight?
That would probably not be good for the Dodgers.
Okay.
Because, the over catching steam after the Braves just had one
back.
Hit. Yeah, one hit last night.
Goose eggs.
Yeah, they got shut out back-to-back games. Obviously, you could make the argument the Dodgers just get it by themselves against a semi-bullpen game, but I don't see that happening. I don't think it's going to be that lopsided. So you would hope the Braves bats come to play. Maybe Trent wouldn't, but I wouldn't write him off.
Mm-hmm. They're still minus 225. They better get the job done.
Better.
Yeah. Would you take the
scares
run
me
line?
You had to have. Unless you're pairing it with Fade and Cal Quantrill.
No, I took -1.5.
Sure he can. Ozuna getting his first nuke. Has he even gotten a hit yet, Alex?
Yeah, he's definitely gotten a hit.
Not many. Kyle Tucker out there hitting nukes last night, too. I need him to get active on the bases.
He does have one. He got one for you.
Got one? Kind
More than fucking Trout and Jordan homers combined, so you're chilling.
You're right. I shouldn't be bitching. You're right. All right, a couple other games that we did pull the Disney Fast Pass and skip because Trent wanted some Dodgers talk. Probably didn't make you too much more confident, Trent, but we can always circle back to that game too as well. But let's talk about these other couple late-night Geysermans that we did skip through. How about Estes on the bump against Brown? I kind of want to back Estes and Mikey Over's Athletics here, Jovan, and he's got a earn run square up there too on the boards that I kind of like the less than. I think Estes might go out there and do yob. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I also just think, Ben Brown, another one of the guys for the Cubs, or I guess not another one for the Cubs, but another one of these guys league-wide that we see there's trying to make the transition to full-time starter. His leash probably isn't going to be super long either, but we've seen with the Cubs bullpen in general, it is absolutely awful and overworked after what they did in that D-back series or what they had to do. So I think this is a recipe for disaster. I think the A's, especially after that sleepy series against Seattle, which is not I don't know. You can't really blame them for that. Not just because they're facing great pitching, but it's also where hitters go to die. You come back now and the debut of your new home park down there, I think the bats get up and moving against this just horrid Cub staff.
Jovan, let me ask you a question real quick. If this was true, then couldn't everybody in the chat just fade all my plays and get rich and then never have to come in here again, and then they could all move to the islands?
You would think.
Right?
You would think.
Wouldn't you think that was true? Shit, that's what I would do. I'd fade myself if I could send myself to the Galapagos Islands. Are you kidding me? Shit, man. Guys, it's that easy, I promise. From Jewel Ferg. He sounds like a reliable source.
Yeah, coming off a sweep on last stream is just wild. Wild time.
And we're like the only people that give out picks for free still. Crazy. It's crazy and hilarious. All right, let's keep moving to grooving here. My guy, Job, is up on the bump here, Jovan, for the Tigers.
Jackson Job.
Against Hancock. Sure he can. I kind of want to back Job and the 0-3, I believe, Tigers. At plus chicken, I think they caught maybe 5-ish, maybe 10 from the opener last night. Depends on what book you're looking at. Caught a little bit of steam now from that opening line. The Tigers still looking for their first win. Seattle salvaged their series at home against the Athletics. They didn't look good. They split the series. And they'll take their 2 wins and go about their day, but they did not look sharp. Athletics looked like the better team in that series, to be honest with you. They stay home. Tigers coming to town after getting swept on the road at LA. kind of want to take Job, Fade, and Hancock here, back the young arm, and the Tigers at plus chicken. What are your thoughts, Javon?
Not gonna lie, kind of like the Mariners.
Wow.
Which part of that is because, I don't know, everybody thinks Job already won Cy Young. It's a great matchup, obviously, against the Mariners because they're going to strike out a shit ton. But, I mean, the line, I couldn't tell you there's probably not a more beta-looking strikeout line on the board today with Jackson Job. Plus, I don't know what the leash is necessarily going to look like for him either, first start out there. But nobody wants the Mariners right now. Not they don't have a reason. Their offense looked absolutely horrid with maybe like other than – I'll give Sevy some grace. I like Sevy, but outside of like Springs, I mean, they had some pretty decent matchups in the 4 games of that A series where they did absolutely nothing. They looked lost at the plate. Now you get Jackson Job, who's super hyped up and is going to make his first start of the season, new campaign, rookie of the year candidate. And I don't know, the plus money looks enticing, I would say. Emerson Hancock hasn't really looked great in his starts on the big leagues, but he's been working on his off speed in the off season. He's been taking some of the same shape as like the other pitchers in the Mariners staff. He just seems to be like the one weak link there, which makes me think this is probably the spot where nobody wants the Mariners, where you get them in like a 3-2 game.
Wow. Well, shit. Fade the Padres 4-0 off of Sunday night guards. Dead Larry Bird likes. Shit, that's double shit for me.
Talk about that game.
All right, let's talk about it really quick, and then we will get to the squad ride here. But what are you liking in Luis Ortiz versus, what was that, Kevin Hart up on the bump for Padres?
Yeah, it's another one of, I don't want to say like your Fetty type guy, but he's coming over from there. Kyle Hart, former KBO guy.
Sure.
I think he's going to get shelled by the guards. I like the guards too. I was debating, and I still really haven't decided between the guards or that over, or if I meet in the middle with guards team total and just leave Luis Ortiz out of the equation. But I love the Padres, but Luis Ortiz I don't think is like the craziest matchup for them because he struggles big time against like lefties. And again, like a lot of the bigger hitters, like sure you can argue Jackson Merrill is in a really good spot tonight, but Tatis and Machado are, could be in much better spots with a pitcher who struggles with the other handedness. But Hart, I think it's absolutely drilled. The guards didn't look good, in their first series either, but they're still a relatively patient team. And this Padres bullpen, as good as it is probably going to be in a pretty extended spot tonight, coming off of Sunday Night Baseball too, obviously with no travel. So that's not like the system fade equivalent, but I think the guards bats get up and moving and win this one.
Did Clase technically get a save last night or no?
I don't think so. I thought that was out of
4 runs.
Yeah, I thought that was out of range.
It might have been out of range.
Yeah, they're up 4, no save.
Okay. I know sometimes it gets weird because like they were talking about Kyle Finnegan when the Brad Lord situation went down and they were up 5 runs, but once they got 3 people on base, it did become a save situation technically.
Once you get like
kind of weird
somebody to the plate, which has the power to make it a save situation at the very least.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. And we are a couple minutes over here as well, Javon. So why don't we lock in, craft up a little squad ride. We can pass off the baton to Trent. So I don't want to go over time anymore. Okay.
Sure.
Why don't we lock in here and see if we can find a squad ride W for today, chat? What are we locking in? What favorite plays did you hear us talking about today? We got a couple subbies as well. Easy Puck, Richie coming in, dropping subbies. We got Knifer coming in, dropping a resub as well. 29 months. Where does the time go? Holy smokes. That is pretty crazy. Let me go ahead and get a poll up and move in chat. And we can start out the squad rides. All right, new poll, BTL squad rides. Javon, take a second here. I don't want you stressed, but also don't take too long because we got to lock these in. Favorite play today?
Well, before that, Krabs, there is one play lurking that's not on the diamond.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the Diamonds. Seriously.
Yeah, one play lurking, and it's the Grizz against the
Wow, in the NBA.
Yeah, which I'm counting this for my sake as the first coach fired game because I feel like less than 24-hour turnaround before they got to play the Lakers at home wasn't enough to do it. So like they lost that game. It was a great game, played close for a majority of the game, but I think this is where we back them. against the Celtics of all teams. TNT game, which I don't know if they usually do Monday TNT games every single week.
Yeah,
but
what?
TNT Monday game tonight, which I don't think is any sort of accident that they're going to Memphis for this game.
Yeah, that line kind of sticks off the page.
Just a little bit, Krabs. Just a bit.
Dude, sign me up. Thought you were going to give the Wizards against your Heat. Okay. We'll stick with the Grizzlies then.
Won't do that.
The NBA. Any plays on the ice that were catching your eye or no?
No, nothing on the ice.
Only 4 games. So
4 games, pretty rat shit.
And I don't want to bet the Preds, although that's probably the right sharp look.
Yeah, I don't want to fade the Flyers really at all because they got a bunch of young guys that are fired up post-tour firing. So they're going to be firing on all cylinders for a while. But
what do you like on the Diamonds?
I mean, I would love some type of guards angle, whether that's team total over in the game or just the guards in the ML. I didn't know if that stuck with you.
Yeah. Let me go look at those Ortiz squares again. Doesn't have many up.
Yeah, I mean, he's, I guess, kind of a question mark as far as his length into the game, too.
Right. I wouldn't mind fading the Sunday Night Baseball narrative and just taking guards on the ML skis.
Guards in the ML skis, you know, man.
Okay. Let's go guards ML, chat. Let's hope they win by so many we don't have to see Class A, but we know what's about to happen after I say that.
I think we'll exchange one Class A save for a potential squad red win.
Yeah, I will. 100p.
The fair exchange.
I'd exchange 5 if I had to.
Sure.
What about the Athletics today, man? I can't stop thinking about Estes at plus 120.
Yeah, just the home opener magic too, Krabs. Like,
we're throwing out some plus chicken, some barely plus chicken MLB dogs.
Yeah.
Could be one right there as well.
And I think we did this in their last game of playing in Oakland too. Maybe not exactly the same like situation, but last game in Oakland, it was like the didn't make sense play, just looking at actual baseball. And we were just like, we got to back the A's last time in Oakland. And they came through in emphatic fashion at the end, and it's their first game playing at home, new home. I feel like we just have to back.
And let me throw one more play at you, Jovan. Then we're going to wrap this puppy up. You mentioned Drew Rasmussen getting up and moving today, going out there having a day. Now, we can't bet them -2 hundo, and we're certainly not taking them in a 2-piece parlay. I'll tell you that much. But kind of like the under in the game. What if we just took Pirates team total under and backed our guy Rasmussen to go out there and do yob?
I wouldn't hate it. I am just a little scared about the wind, though, because this is the first time I think we're seeing how it plays when it's blowing pretty hard directly out. So I definitely think the Rays are going to do a bulk of the damage, but I would love to see it for a game.
All right. Why don't we go these 3 plays, 3 winners? You good with that? Grizzlies, Guardians, and Athletics?
Yep.
Is that cool with you?
Wow, we might have to take a trip to Mikey Overs.
We might have to. Chat, 2 minutes. Trent, I apologize. This is going way too far over. Will not happen the rest of the week, but a little late start. That's on me as well. But BTL Squad Ride poll is up here, chat. 2 minutes, and stick around. We've got the Surge stream starting up right after this. Please pitch Trent some winners. Lord knows he needs them. Although he's been pretty dialed in of late, he might not want your cake today. Chat, 3 plays, 3 winners. Do me a favor, lock in here for 1 minute before we turn over the page and pass off the baton to Trent and the Surge stream. Okay? 3 plays, 3 winners. Grizzlies spread +5. And guys, I don't know why that play's getting swept. That's what I'm voting for. That is a nasty, disgusting NBA play that Jovan literally said, let me sound the alarms real quick and let you guys know about a nasty NBA play we haven't talked about yet. The Grizzlies should be getting more votes. I'll say it. Just because we talk more baseball today does not mean that those plays outweigh that nasty Grizz play. I just want to make sure it's getting enough respect. Jovan, that's all it is. And then we got 2 good-looking plus chicken ML plays in the diamond as well with the Guardians and the Athletics. Sure we can. 3 plays, 3 winners.
Sure.
I like where we're at. All right. We got a spread in the NBA. We got 2 ML dogs that are going to be barking. Nothing crazy though, chat. Barely plus chicken. All right. The Guardians on the ML and the Athletics on the ML.
Moneyball.
Right. Get those votes in. Sure, we can.
That.
Get those votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. You got about 10 seconds left, and then we're starting up the Surge stream. Stick around, please, for the Surge stream. Get those votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Right now, the Guardians are pulling away with it. A little bit surprised by that, to be honest with you.
Really thought we were going A's tonsils to start year.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, chat, as long as they're dialed in and showing hearts and clicking the right button, that's all I care about. It's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be the Guardians on the ML. Chat, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Check the BTL Twitter. Check the feed for Prize Picks lineups and for other plays on the books. And we'll catch you at the cash counter when the Guardians ML smacks. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be.